You don't call yourselves the master race, God's chosen people, with God's chosen faith, that have the divine right to... The Jew asked a question, what do we expect them to do, or what else can they do other than what they're doing? The question is, the answer is very, very simple. The first thing you need to do is to this idea that the butchery of women and children, 50,000 or so, that's what we know about, have been slaughtered already. That should be a no-no. That's the starting point. That killing innocent civilians is not the way forward and will not bring peace, number one. Number two, going back a bit, before the genocide we're seeing today in Gaza, what should we have done? What do we do, is what he asked me. Well, the first thing you need to do as a nation and as a state is accept the idea that all human beings, regardless of your faith, regardless of your religion, regardless of your ethnicity, are equal. You don't call yourselves the master race, God's chosen people, with God's chosen faith, that have the divine right to suppress the rights of others, displace others, occupy their land, and kill them at will. That's, I would suggest, is one of the things you need to do. Another thing you need to do is get a decent set of leaders in your country. Why do I say this? You had a man, Yitzhak Rabin, a very good man. I think he was the leader of the Labour Party in Israel, who ensured there was peace with Egypt and tried to build bridges of peace with the Middle East and stop the wars, and stop the occupation, and stop the killing. But what happened to him? A protege of Benjamin Netanyahu, your present prime minister, killed him because he wanted to make peace with everyone. So get rid of this idea that you are the master race, which is what the Nazis used to call it. You're not. You are just like anybody else, and the Palestinians have every right to what they believe is their homeland. What else can you do? Perhaps you should also consider the possibility of establishing the idea of a two-party solution, two-state solution to the crisis that you have today. 80% of Jewish people in the state of Israel today have rejected that and said no, they'd rather opt for this greater Israel concept. And what that means is to establish a state of Israel from the borders of Egypt right up onto Iran and take everything and everybody in it. That is their concept. 80% of the Israeli people believe in what people like Smotrich, the Minister of Finance, Gvir, the Minister of National Security, and a number of other ministers, and of course Bibi Netanyahu himself. They believe, who believe that Gaza should be nuked, who believe that the people of Gaza and the people, Palestinians should be distributed in 25 different countries at 25,000 people per country. I think you should get rid of that philosophy. If we want peace, what you need to do is look within yourselves and understand that as long as you slaughter innocent people, women and children at will, and give excuses to the world for doing so with impunity, people will rise up and say enough is enough. This has happened all over the world and throughout his human history. You cannot win a conflict by slaughtering women and children.
Thank you.
That is what you need to do. That's a starting point. Plenty more. Stop torturing your prisoners. Stop taking human parts from the bodies of dead Palestinians.
Okay.
Stop involving yourself in so many things that are reprehensible. And listen to this. Final point, Iriti, is this. Perhaps you should consider abiding by the decision of the United Nations and the resolutions, abiding by international law, listening to what the ICJ has said, listening to what the ICC have said, and stop threatening ICC prosecutors with killing them simply because they don't agree and said you're committing homicide. Stop killing people that are against you and stop looking at yourselves as a master.